come on in, like the video as soon as you come in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Kind of a late start, had some stuff to take care of. And we're going to get to the clips in the video, what we need to talk about. But come on in as I set up everything. Please, button as you come in. All comments are alleged. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, everyone. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Good afternoon, good afternoon. We're going to get into some hot topics, trending topics. Many people are not happy in regards to not releasing of the files. Many people are not happy in regards to the Maxwell situation. And many people are talking out about what's going on with that. So we're going to get to a few different things. Let's talk about it, Media 21. Okay, so allow me a second. Lot going on. Come on in, like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here and thank you for subscribing. Appreciate all of you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. I could probably play this clip first.
I just have very highly thought.
Were you aware of and did you personally approve the prison transfer for Gileain Maxwell that your Justice Department?
I know about it at all. No, I read about it just like you did.
And do you believe that
How
she's
is that
not
possible?
a very uncommon thing.
Do you believe that she's credible to be listening to? Your Deputy Attorney General sat down with her recently.
Well, let me tell you, he's a very talented man. His name is Todd Blanche. He's a very legitimate person, very high. I just a very highly thought of person, respected by everybody. And I didn't talk to him about it, but I will tell you that whatever he asked would be totally appropriate, and it's not an uncommon thing to do that. And I think he probably wants to make sure that, people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate, very unfair to a lot of people. But I will say this, Todd Blanche is one of the most highly respected people you'll ever meet. So I know this. I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Were you aware of and did you personally approve the prison transfer for Gileain Maxwell that your Justice Department?
I didn't know about it at all. No, I read about it just like you did.
And do you believe that she is?
It's not a very uncommon thing.
Do you believe that she's credible to be listening to? Your Deputy Attorney General sat down with her recently.
Well, let me tell you, he's a very talented man. His name is Todd Blanche. He's a very legitimate person, very high. I just a very highly thought of person, respected by everybody. And
let's move on. Fair use reaction clip.
Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome, welcome. So in just a second, we're going to talk about the fact that Trump is letting Gileain Maxwell leave prison. He's actually doing that. I'm not joking. That's real. So, it's already all there, right? Like, Gileain has already somewhat cleared Trump's name, went out there and just lied for him, and now Trump is putting her in a minimum security prison and letting her leave. It's all the conspiracy theorists were already proven 100% correct. There's no way around it. So we'll talk about that. We also have Netanyahu admitting that his harshest critics from day one were also 100% correct. We have Trump picking this psychopath to be the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is basically an admission that he's going to rig the jobs numbers in his time in office. And look, now it's an open question, can we ever believe the jobs numbers? That's a real question now. And then later on, we'll also get to Trump demanding total control of the entire Smithsonian Museum. He's trying to lie about history, whitewash history, literally make it comport with his version of history. This is like being reported that that's what they said to the Smithsonian Museum. And then later on, we have we have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Loomer absolutely going to war with each other. And those bitches are messy, dog. Those bitches are messy. So we have all that and more. You guys know the drill. Everybody please subscribe to the channel. Everybody please like the video. Everybody support the show on Patreon. Sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And of course, go support my boy Corin on the Corin's World YouTube channel. We do live Kyle and Corin episodes over there, usually Mondays at 8:30. We didn't do it this week. He was on vacation, but we'll be back next week. So definitely sign up for that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into it. So this is huge, man. This is huge. And this needs to be talked about a hell of a lot more than it is. But Gileain Maxwell is now cleared to leave prison on work release. So here's what they say. Convicted child sex trafficker Gileain Maxwell has reportedly been cleared to leave prison on work release. Podcast host Allison Gill obtained information about Maxwell's security score, sex offender waiver, and other details after the former partner of Jeffrey Epstein was moved to a minimum security prison in Texas. According to journalist Adam Klasfeld, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse raised questions about Maxwell's new prison accommodations in a letter to the director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The senator demanded to know if Maxwell received special treatment after meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, President Donald Trump's former personal attorney. Documents viewed by Gill indicate that Maxwell was given a 7-point base security score. That's the highest possible because she was a sex offender and considered a danger to the community. So they say, quote, despite her score of 27, resulting in a minimum security level, BOP policy does not allow people with a sex offender PSF, public safety factor, to serve their sentences in minimum security facilities. Someone has to waive the PSF to make that move. Okay, do you understand what's being said there? They're saying somebody who's convicted of what Gileain Maxwell is convicted of, in no way, shape, or form can they ever be sent to a minimum security prison because they're too much of a danger to the community. She was a child sex trafficker. So that means that the Trump regime literally waived her and said, we're going to allow this child sex trafficker to go to a minimum security prison. They changed her, basically like her danger level, to allow her to go to a minimum security prison where, and I'm not kidding about this, they do arts and crafts, they do yoga, they play bocce ball, they go on long walks, they watch movies together. It's more like a fucking summer camp than it is like an actual prison. And so now she gets all those perks, but it actually gets worse. It actually gets worse. Ready for this? So they say the documents also showed that.
Now, are y'all surprised that this information has shifted and changed from where she was to where she is now? Who gave that proper release?
Maxwell's custody level was set to out, allowing her to leave the prison to work. Gill explained that sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Maxwell's associate, enjoyed the same ability to work outside prison after a sweet.
Now it's being alleged she's able to leave and go outside to work. Why would she be? She's in maximum. Now she's in a minimum security, and now she's able to leave. Do y'all think something's up with that? Clock that T. Watch the moves. Watch the moves.
Our deal, penned by attorney Alan Dershowitz and approved by Alex Acosta, who served under former President George W. Bush and Trump, still serving under Trump. I don't know how many of you guys have seen the documentaries on Jeffrey Epstein. There's one on Netflix. And in that one, he literally gets to leave whenever he wants. He gets to leave prison when he was in prison. He got to leave prison whenever he wants. He's not allowed to leave the country, but he would oftentimes get on his jet and leave the country and come back. He would only have to spend like maybe a couple nights at the prison per week. It was a joke. It was like a camp for a guy like Jeffrey Epstein. So that's what it was for Epstein. Now, you have Gileain Maxwell getting the exact same treatment. Again, why? Why was she granted this sweetheart deal? Why was she granted this treatment? Well, the answer is simple. Trump wants Gileain to clear his name, and in return, she gets treats. She gets favors. And now the question is, will he take that final step? Look, to me, it's already case closed. That, we know there's a sweetheart deal going on. That's a fact. But the question is Trump going to go all the way? Is Trump eventually going to say, oh, we're pardoning her? We're pardoning her. We're going to let her out. And if he were to do that, my guess is he'd do that, towards the end of his time in office, because, it looks, the earlier you do it, the sketchier it looks, right? He could do it and get out of Dodge, sort of like what Biden did pardoning Hunter and family members, right, on his way out. So will Trump go all the way? But look, I'll go out on a limb here and say he doesn't even necessarily have to. She already said some stuff that clears his name, lied for him. And now, just the fact that she's at this minimum security prison and she can leave for work, this is total. She's basically not in prison anymore. She's not in prison. This is like this prison that she's at is like a fucking country club, right? And so she can leave most of the time, come back when she wants, do some hot yoga, go for a walk, watch some movies with her girlfriends. Like, this is what it is. So absolutely insane. And it's all because our pedophile sex trafficking president is trying to hide stuff that we already know if you're bothering to pay attention, if you're bothering to follow the news and what comes out. And what blows my mind is that the mainstream media hasn't really taken advantage of the things we already know. Like, for example, Epstein being Trump's best friend for a decade, which he admitted on audio tape. Like, for example, the first time that Trump and Melania had sex, it was on the Lolita Express, which is Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile plane.
Alleged.
Like, for example, that Jeffrey Epstein knew the inner workings of the first Trump White House. How the hell do you know that? Because he had moles in there, right? He had people in there who were giving him information, and of course, he was Mossad. I don't even know, people who even follow this story, I don't even know if they know that Trump and Epstein shared a girlfriend together.
Alleged.
That sounds fake, right? But it's not. They literally shared a girlfriend. Trump also wrote that creepy love letter to Epstein on his 50th birthday, saying like,
alleged. Whoa. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video as y'all come in. Like the video as y'all come in. Are y'all surprised that she's able to get like a work release? Many people are not happy with it. How these people are moving right now is so questionable.
According to podcast host Allison, Gileain Maxwell is out of prison, folks. Well, not completely and entirely out of prison, but she, of course, her status. According to podcast host Allison Gill, her status in the federal prison system has been updated to out. And what that means is that this minimum security facility that she's technically not even allowed to be in because she is a sex offender has decided to allow her to get on a work release program. Not unironically, like her good buddy Jeffrey Epstein. After all, for Jeffrey Epstein's first criminal sentence, he was put in what basically amounted to, prison-run townhouses. He had his own bathroom, had his own, apartment, effectively, and he was allowed to leave there for up to at least 12 hours per day to go work, unsupervised. He had a car. He was allowed to just go as long as he was working. And now Gileain Maxwell is getting the exact same treatment, which I gotta say doesn't make a lot of sense when you take into account the reason the government gave us for moving Gileain Maxwell from the federal prison in Florida. If you'll remember, when they made the decision to move her from the maximum security Florida penitentiary to the Club Fed over in Texas, they said they had to do it because, we're worried about her safety. People want to kill her. So we've got to protect her, and we're going to do that by putting her in a facility where there's less dangerous people. Okay. And now you're going to let her leave jail every day to go work? Like, who's going to hire her? That's what I want to know. Who is going to hire Gileain Maxwell?
And who put in the request for her to get hired?
The very, very angry people who, like those inmates in Florida, probably would hurt Gileain Maxwell. I mean, as bad as it is, honestly, that Maxwell has been given this, horribly cushy treatment from Trump in order to protect him because he's in the heart of all of this, that's horrible enough. But it also seems like a trap. To me, this feels like Donald Trump's administration laying a trap for Gileain Maxwell because they know there are people in this country who despise her with every fiber of their being. And some of those people, not exactly, the most mentally stable. The kind of people who might do something if they were to see Gileain Maxwell working behind the counter at a coffee shop, right? This seems like a trap to make something bad happen to Gileain Maxwell. Because sure, she's cooperating with them right now, but you know what's better than a witness cooperating? A witness with damaging information on you no longer existing, right? That's even better for them. So it's disgusting that this is going to happen, but at the same time, I don't think this is an accident. I think this is because this administration wants something to happen to her so that she can never talk to anybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please.
Wow. Do y'all think that's the reason why they're allowing it? Many people are so shocked that this is even occurring, and I'm shocked too. Last night when I saw that she's on like work release and she was moved, everybody's like, what in the world is really going on and why? Is this person, just because she gave up a few names, but a lot of the public don't know who that is.
And here's what I heard. I heard her tell another inmate that she heard dirt on Trump. Wow, not good news for Donald Trump at all. Gileain Maxwell's cellmate in Tallahassee is breaking her silence. And this cellmate says that Gileain Maxwell was telling other prisoners that she had dirt on Donald Trump. Gileain Maxwell was trying to position for a pardon under former President Biden, but Biden's DOJ did not want to hear at all from a convicted sex trafficker. But apparently Gileain was telling other prisoners that she's got the goods on Donald Trump. She hoped that Biden would use that against Donald Trump. Biden and Merrick Garland were like, we just can't have any communications with this convicted sex trafficker. But the question is what do some of these other prisoners know, number one? And number two, will they now get subpoenaed in a future Democratic-controlled Congress? Or perhaps if Democrats hold shadow hearings, or should Democrats outmaneuver Republicans again to try to get subpoenas of these individuals to find out what Gileain may have been telling other prisoners? Let me tell you what Gileain told her cellmate in just a moment. But I also want to share with you, how has the MAGA Republican talking points evolved per Donald Trump? Well, now they think if they go after Bill Clinton and other people who they claim are leftist politicians who went to Epstein Island, that's going to somehow make Democrats scared, or it's going to delay the process in releasing the Epstein files. We don't give a crap. If Bill Clinton's in the files, so be it. No one's defending him. No one's protecting him. No one knows what the hell you're even talking about there. If he's in it, great. Get it out there. We want all the information to be out. Whether you're left, right, center, up, down, purple, green, blue, red, don't matter. Release the freaking files. That's what people are saying. Let's get into it. Daily Mail got the exclusive. I heard Gileain tell inmates that she heard that she had dirt on Donald Trump. They did this incredible expose USA, the Daily Mail, on Gileain Maxwell's life behind bars at Tallahassee before she was transferred to the minimum security facility in Texas. And the Tallahassee female prisoners are livid. They are revolting in that prison. Apparently, it is a mess right now after a convicted sex trafficker got moved to the minimum security facility. That prison apparently is going nuts right now. So here's what went down. One of the things that we are learning. So her cellmate is someone by the name of Catherine Kamali. Catherine Kamali was serving a sentence for selling methamphetamines, for selling drugs. She's talking about the conditions with Gileain Maxwell, and Maxwell's cellmate says, I was there with her. I was in B South at the Tallahassee facility. We were sleeping in these cubes.
And all comments are alleged. Like the video as y'all come in. There's about 111 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button as you come in. And please hit the like button. Double tap the screen as you guys come in. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Next to each other. The bunk beds were right next to each other. And here's what I heard. I heard her tell another inmate that she heard dirt on Trump and that it was going to get her a pardon from Biden. You heard her boasting about that. But ultimately, I guess that Biden's camp just didn't want to go down that route with Gileain Maxwell. So Gileain, this just shows you what little credibility Gileain has. So Gileain's pivoted, and now with Donald Trump saying, I know all of this stuff about you, because she was with Donald Trump since the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s when she and Epstein split around 2004. She stopped talking to Donald Trump, but she knows this stuff. I mean, go back to the 1997 article from the Sunday Mirror, which used to be owned by her oligarch father fraudster, Robert Maxwell, who died mysteriously on a yacht called the Lady Gileain while he was taking a piss off the side of it. And then it was discovered that he was stealing from pension funds. That's how he was getting a lot of his money. But in this 1997 Sunday Mirror article, it talked about Gileain bringing Donald Trump young women. The real estate developer got young women from Gileain, and she would travel with Donald Trump and the young women. They called her a Madame Gileain, bringing the real estate developer the young women he would put in his penthouse. That was from a 1997 article. It's important to note. Now, this about one of the things it mentions is that Gileain had very bad hygiene, it said, and that she would smell, that she didn't like to use a lot of soap because she was afraid what would happen if she was taking showers. So it goes on to talk about her very poor hygiene as well. But, ultimately, with Donald Trump and the MAGA turning point, why didn't Biden go after Gileain and get the information out? Because that was never what Biden and their DOJ was focused on. Perhaps maybe they should have went in there and said, let's get all the dirt from Donald Trump, but it's illegal. It's illegal. What Donald Trump is doing and how he's treating the DOJ and destroying it breaks every norm, rule, and manual. And, people can say, we wish Biden would have fought fire with fire. He didn't. And Gileain was angling for the pardon to give all the dirt on Trump. Again, think about all the stuff she knows, but Biden wouldn't take it. Now, this happens on the same day that the federal judge Engelmeyer issued a scathing order against the Trump regime. So the Trump regime, part of their strategy from late July to August is have Congress recess, give Donald Trump the space to try to bury and hide the Epstein files, redact Donald Trump's name, offer a deal to Gileain to shut her up, give her immunity, move her to this facility, minimum security facility in Texas, Camp Ryan prison in Texas, distract people with that, then pretend that we're trying to release the files by going after grand jury testimony when grand jury testimony cannot really lawfully even be made public, and there's nothing in the grand jury testimony. There's no there. It's not going to add anything. It took place over one day. There was not like a lot of witnesses called. It was like one DOJ FBI agent who testified based on hearsay, which you're allowed to do at grand juries. There's not anything that's even going to be added, but the Trump regime wants to blame the judges. Oh, we tried to release the files, but the judge blocked it. The files you can release today, Donald and Pam Bondi. You can release today. That's the 300 gigabytes currently in your possession, custody, and control. That's what you warned Donald Trump in May. His name was all over. That's why you put 1,000 DOJ and FBI agents to redact and delete Donald Trump's name. That's why you went to Gileain Maxwell, gave her immunity in Tallahassee, spoke to her for 9 hours, gave her queen for a day treatment, and then moved her to a minimum security facility, dangled a pardon in front of her, and in order to get her silence. You see what she was angling to do with Biden, but Biden wouldn't do it. Trump, boom, right away. What do you want me to do? Okay, bring you to the minimum security facility and you'll shut up? Okay, sounds good. Anyway, sorry, going back to the federal judge Paul Engelmeyer, in a 31-page decision, he said basically the entire premise of the government wanting to release this grand jury testimony is demonstrably false, that the public would come away feeling disappointed and misled, that you would be re-victimizing the victims by misleading the public about what's in this grand jury.
Continue to hit the like button. Can I please get 100 people to double tap that screen to hit the like button? Please double tap that screen to hit the like button. We got 6 likes. Let's get the likes to 80. All you have to do is double tap the screen to hit the like. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. You can double tap the screen to get the likes up so we can continue with the show. Let's get the likes up, everyone. Everyone needs to do their part. As you're commenting, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
testimony. There's nothing of import there at all. It's not allowed to be released in general, so cut it out. And if you want to release the files, you can release the files at any time. It's the 300 gigabytes currently in your possession, custody, and control. So with all of this going on, with now the news that Gileain's cellmate is saying Gileain has the dirt on Donald, and she wanted to give it to Biden for a pardon, but Biden wouldn't make a deal with a convicted sex trafficker. With Donald giving Gileain queen for a day immunity and moving her to a minimum security facility, likely in exchange for her silence. MAGA Republican James Comer, the Democrats outmaneuvered James Comer in the House Oversight Committee. They were able to get the House Oversight Committee to issue a subpoena for the Epstein files that are due in about 8 days. But what James Comer's now doing is he issued subpoenas to Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, and like 10 other people. Not to Alex Acosta, who's the actual federal prosecutor who was in the first Trump administration. He was the Labor Department secretary. But in 2007, he's the guy who gave the non-prosecution agreement to Epstein. Alex Acosta doesn't get a subpoena, but Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, James Comer, all these people, they get subpoenas. Why? Because what James Comer wants to do, James Comer from the House Oversight Committee, he wants to be like, well, Bill Clinton isn't responding to the subpoena. Hillary, they're objecting. So if they're objecting, we should wait until the files from the DOJ come, until we hear what Bill Clinton has to say, what Hillary Clinton has to say. Look, no, you don't. If they're in the files, release the files, and we'll see their names on them, right? There's no one who's saying, oh my gosh, we need to help Bill Clinton here. It's a red herring. We don't care if he's on the list. He's on the list. If he's in the Donald Trump's in office. Get that through your freaking skull. And he's the one covering up for a pedo sex trafficking ring right now. He's the one covering up the files. Just release the files. And if you want to try to subpoena all of these people, go through the legal process there, that's fine. But what the hell? Here's what James Comer has to say. Here, let's play that clip.
I just want to ask you one question, Mr. Chairman. The American people want to know what happened on Epstein Island. I'm not going to drop this topic. You've subpoenaed Bill Clinton. He's going to fight you tooth and nail with the best lawyers in the country in some cases. Do you think Bill Clinton ever actually testifies? I think his date is, what, October 12th?
All right, this feels almost
like the video, fair use reaction clip. How do y'all feel about everything that's going on, the distractions and everything that's going on? Hit the subscribe button, please. There's about 155 people in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 50K by next month. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
We have a very good chance at this. I've never lost a subpoena battle. I've been chairman of that committee for a year and a half. This is the most challenging subpoena I've ever issued. But what makes this subpoena different is that the Democrats voted with Republicans. This is a bipartisan, congressionally approved subpoena. And I think that will hold a lot of weight in court. And you're absolutely right. He's going to have the best lawyers in America fighting us tooth and toenail on this. But the fact that this was voted on by Republicans and Democrats, because we're hearing from our constituents. Everybody in America wants to know what went on at Epstein Island. And we've all heard reports that Bill Clinton was a frequent visitor there. So he's a prime suspect to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee. So hopefully we'll win that court battle with that subpoena and see President Clinton in October.
I hope so.
Okay, now here, corporate news kicking into action. This is Harry Enton on CNN. It's so bizarre, this guy. You know, he always tries to both sides all issues. And here he is saying, you know, people are not talking about Epstein anymore. Google searches are down 89% relative to Donald Trump focusing on his Alaska trip with Putin. Here, play this clip.
I would say that this is, from at least a political point of view, quickly turning into a gut of a story. What am I talking about?
Which is wild.
Which is wild. Which
this has been for 3 weeks.
Exactly. Take a look here. Google searches for Epstein down 89% versus just 3 weeks ago, falling through the floor. It is no longer the top term search alongside Donald Trump's name. That's been trading off between Tariff and Vladimir Putin, with obviously the meeting coming up later this week.
Let me be clear, Enton. The fact that people are searching now more, is Donald Trump going to surrender Ukraine without Ukraine being in a room with Vladimir Putin? Doesn't mean that people have forgotten or don't care about the Epstein files. Also, the Epstein files are not the number one issue on people's mind. The number one issue on people's mind is affordability, the ability to buy homes, our economy stupid, peace throughout the world, education, healthcare, being able to live. But no, the Epstein link is there because it ties all of Donald Trump's lies together. Just to remind you as well, over the weekend, J.D. Vance tried the talking points as well. Here, play this clip.
I have to say, Maria, I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. For 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats did absolutely nothing about the story. We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires, and now President Trump has demanded full transparency from this, and yet somehow the Democrats are attacking him and not the Biden administration, which did nothing for 4 years.
Here's J.D. Vance again trying these talking points again. Play this clip.
Was it the right move for Comer to send subpoenas to the Clintons?
It absolutely was, and it drives home how, while the Democrats have tried to make this Epstein thing about anything but the fact that Democrat billionaires and Democrat political leaders went to Epstein Island all the time, who knows what they did, but it's totally reasonable to ask these questions. What you saw in the House's subpoena is they are trying to investigate all of the things related to this particular case. I know a lot of Americans want answers. I certainly want answers. And I think James Comer and the team of the House, they're doing the right thing. And of course, we know that Clinton, or allegedly he went to the island 26 times, 28 times. Totally appropriate for Comer to be asking what was going on with that island.
I just want to remind you, Gileain Maxwell is an oligarch, right? Her dad was Robert Maxwell, a total fraudster criminal who bankrupted the family. But he was friends with Trump because he was an oligarch at the time in the UK. Trump would go on his yacht. That's where Trump met Gileain Maxwell, like an heiress. So Donald Trump met her. She was dating Epstein. When his businesses went bankrupt, they formed, like, they were thick as thieves. Maxwell, Epstein, Trump, they were the crew. That was the crew. and they partied together, they hung out together. She knows everything about Trump, what went down at Mar-a-Lago. She sex trafficked people from Mar-a-Lago, like Virginia Giuffre, who she got at the spa, and more people likely, based on what Donald Trump said, that Epstein stole girls from the spa. But that's how Donald Trump's language was. But we know she sex trafficked people. She brought underage girls to Mar-a-Lago, and Epstein would point to them at McDonald's and say, "You like this one?" According to the Jane Does who testified at Gileain Maxwell's trial. We know what happened. We know she knows the dirt. It's an interesting data point. She was trying to convince Biden to get a pardon, but Biden wouldn't do it. Because Biden was silly Biden for being law and order. Well, now we have this lawless authoritarianism covering for sex traffickers. That's the Trump regime for you. And subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thank you for watching. The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.midastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.
Like
All
the
right,
video,
this
y'all
feels
come in.
almost
Like the
illegal
video.
to know, but
Like the video as you come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. We're just doing some news media updates. What's going on? What's trending? What everyone's talking about. You think it's right? Not right? Are they getting away with not telling us everything that's going on?
We'll jump you through all the details. It was apparently common knowledge among the inmates of the Federal Correction Institution in Tallahassee, that's the low-security prison in Florida where Maxwell was housed until a few weeks ago when she moved to like the Ritz-Carlton or whatever, that she hoped to avoid serving her full term by trading information for presidential pardon from Biden. That's according to a former inmate named Catherine Connolly talking to the Daily Mail. So that brings us all. It's an inmate. So, we'll see. And it's the Daily Mail. But that said, here's what the inmate said. I heard her tell another inmate that she had dirt on Trump and that it was going to get her a pardon from Biden. I guess Biden's camp just didn't want to go down that route. And that is, if you're a Republican, there's no way that you accept that. You think, oh, no, if Biden was presented with anything, he was going to use it to take down Donald Trump because you believe that the Biden administration weaponized the justice system and that for some reason you don't think Trump is. Okay. I just want to remind everyone who has a somewhat open mind, they slow-rolled every legal proceeding against Donald Trump, including the ones that were completely transparent. He stole the documents. He tried to do a coup. All of that. Merrick Garland was moving at like a Mitch McConnell-esque pace on every bit of that. Joe Biden, for all of the other criticisms I will make of him, wanted no part of politicizing any of this, of getting involved. And I would say, as a result of that, whether for good motivations or not, allowed a felon to get back into the White House and stopped us from getting justice on all these many cases. So I think it is entirely possible that Maxwell did go to them with information and they rejected it. Now, they could have also rejected it because she didn't have any evidence for what she was saying, that she was making up things. All of these are possibilities. And as with everything else in the Epstein case, we will likely never know because of the cover-up that the Trump administration is now engaged in. But just understand that she was apparently working on this. Now, let's get to a little bit more details of what was going on during the Biden administration before we comment. Biden's DOJ concluded in a 2022 sentencing memo that Maxwell was unreliable and unremorseful. Both of those things seem to be true, writing that she apparently decides when she wishes to disclose facts to the court, and those facts shift when it serves the defendant's interests. If anything stands out from the defendant's sentencing submission, it is her complete failure to address her offense conduct and her utter lack of remorse, noting that she participated in sexually abusing her victims. So they were saying she will tell people whatever she needs to get the pardon. And I will remind everyone, she met with Donald Trump's personal lawyer, and she has been moved to a nice little resort, and any day now she can be pardoned, or at the very least, not reveal what she actually knows. So that said, this is the first time that you've been on since this entire Epstein thing has blown up. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really sick. She should not get a pardon. She should not get any empathy, sympathy. It's too late now, obviously, but she is a trafficker, and as you laid out, abused young girls, young women. Why would we reward somebody that was participating in pedophilia? Should never do it. As far as the Biden all the things that you laid out, John, are possibilities. I want to add one more to it. It's also possible that the Biden administration didn't want to open Pandora's box. Because as you know, and I know, and others probably speculate, this should not just be about partisanship. This should be about justice for those who are injured, for the victims, and let the chips fall where they may, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. That should matter not. What should matter is that wealthy people, mainly men, and if there are women in there, I mean, Maxwell is one, abuse their authority at the expense of victims. So I surmise, John, that part of it could have been not wanting to open Pandora's box for political reasons, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to say, release all the documents. I don't care if Republicans or Democrats go down, but it's possible that a prominent Democrat didn't want it. Maybe there are donors in there. Maybe Bill Clinton is in there or whatever. I guess that is possible. But anyway, more reason to not necessarily trust what Maxwell says, or in this case, doesn't say. That said, I think we're going to stay on this topic for the other part to close out the hour with this. We have a story we want to do about data centers and their environmental impact. We will get to that at some point. But anyway, I want to briefly talk about this because I'm very curious what Nina's opinion on this. So, Donald Trump has been trying for almost a month now to distract from the Epstein story, to give out little bits of information or browbeat his fans into not caring about it, talking about it being a Democratic hoax, talking about Obama and Russia and all that stuff. And weeks have gone by. And none of those distractions worked in getting people off the story. But weeks and weeks have gone by, and have those weeks done what the distractions couldn't? Have they sapped people's interest in this scandal and the cover-up? That is the case that Harry Ensign's going to make.
Google searches for Epstein down 89% versus just 3 weeks ago, falling through the floor. It is no longer the top term search alongside Donald Trump's name. That's been trading off between Taros and Vladimir Putin, with obviously the meeting coming up later this week. But at this particular point, the American people's interest in this story, it's quickly becoming something of a nothing burger. Trump's approval rating in July of 2025 was 45%. It's still well within that margin of error here at 44%. And you compare that to where he was in his first term at this point, he was at 37%. So he's 7 points higher. And more than that among Republicans, his approval rating is near a record high, hovering right at about that 90% mark. So no, he hasn't lost any of that base.
Please hit the subscribe
The fact
button.
that it's not, like, people
Please
don't
hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Like the video as you guys come in. Thank you.
important. I think the genocide in Gaza is pretty important. So that doesn't necessarily mean nobody cares. The fact that he's only lost like 1 or 2 points of Republicans, despite the most stumbling and bumbling, obvious cover-up ever, with all these updates of, oh no, it turns out his name was in there and they redacted it. Actually, it's in the files 1,000 times. And oh, by the way, he sent his personal lawyer to Gileain Maxwell. And oh, what do you know? Right after that, she got put into a minimum security prison. And oh, according to Raw Story 2 hours ago, she might have been cleared for work release. We'll see about that. Raw Story is the only place that I'm seeing that so far. But evidently, she might have been cleared to leave prison for work release. It's all transparent. And yet, he doesn't seem to have lost much of MAGA, despite the fact that MAGA has been QAnon'd out for years, and this is an obvious cover-up. By the way, he's gotten a big assist. Fox News has not said anything about all this. They've devoted, according to Media Matters, more than 7 times as much coverage to Sydney Sweeney's genes than they did to this obvious political cover-up. Nina, what do you think about this? Have people moved on? Is it still an issue? Should people care? What do you think?
No, yeah, definitely people should care, but have they moved on? Your points are right on. Paying for my groceries, AP just came out with a poll that said about 86% of Americans are stressed about buying groceries. 76% are stressed about paying their job, and then about 75% are stressed about housing. So yeah, it might not rate at the top, but people should be, and I think people are still concerned about this in the media. For that reporter to say it's a nothing burger, I would ask the victims. Do they think it's a nothing burger? It is the journalist. It is journalists' responsibility to continue to cover this story, whether people are Googling it or not. We've just lost all. Well, I shouldn't say lost all humanity. I mean, this welcome to America.
Yeah, 100% right. And by the way, the fact that he's gone this whole month and has never had to acknowledge the victims, other than that they were his property.
Hey, John, one other quick point, because I know our producers are saying we have to go, but this is not new. Like, people should definitely understand this. Just the obscenity of it all is what's stunning to us. But this stuff is not new, and we really got to search deep into our souls what type of country we want to be, because we already know where we are, what we have been, for sure.
Yeah, and what we expect out of a president. The fact that we lift up maybe the worst person in our country, we hand the reins of power. Maybe at some point we can stop doing that. One of her lawyers said in a statement to the Daily Beast, there are plenty of absurd rumors out there, but this one, patently false, might just take the cake. That's from attorney David Oscar Marcus. So, David Oscar.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Please hit subscribe, everyone. Please hit subscribe. Good afternoon.
Marcus he's earned his pay. He said the thing that he's supposed to say or whatever, and it might even be true. Again, we already gave multiple caveats that it's one inmate talking to the Daily Mail. I also think it's entirely possible that in a span of 4 years, Gileain Maxwell decided she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life in prison. So anyway, that's what they say. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if she's on that work release. In the chat, Brooke says work release, works as a spa manager. Anything's possible. You think it's impossible that she'll like party at Mar-a-Lago at some point in the next 2 years? I think she speaks at the RNC 2028, but we'll see.
Like the video as y'all come in. Are y'all surprised with all this news and the back and forth and how he's allowed and this is going on? Like the videos y'all come in, like the videos guys come in. Many people are outraged that she's been moved and she's able to have a work release. Like the video.
You know, her status has very recently become.
This is Democracy Watch, with everybody focusing their attention on Epstein. There is one person who is alive right now who really does have all of the answers, and that's Gileain Maxwell, who's right now under the custody of the Bureau of Prisons. She's in federal prison right now, serving out a 20-year prison term. And so, what is the DOJ able to do as far as she's concerned in terms of I don't want to say interfering in this case, but how could she be helpful to the DOJ, or how could the DOJ conversely be helpful for?
So now she's been moved. This was 3 weeks ago.
Her, if they have vested interest in keeping her quiet.
Right. So, you know, her status has very recently become a central focus for a few reasons. The first is by sheer coincidence, and it is actually by sheer coincidence, the Department of Justice's response to her petition to the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her conviction was due earlier this week. And a lot of us who were otherwise not following these filings followed it very carefully, and the Department of Justice stood by the prosecution and said that her petition should be denied. So where we stand as we are reporting this is that the Department of Justice has taken the position that her conviction was correct, it was proper, there was nothing wrong with it, and that conviction should stand. Obviously, I start with that because the most
obvious thing that we have seen Donald Trump do is he has abused the pardon power, right? So Donald Trump could grant a pardon, and the Supreme Court has largely said that the pardon power is absolute. So, it would be extremely untoward. It would be, problematic politically and from a variety of perspectives. But there's nothing that prevents Donald Trump from having word delivered to her that if she says or doesn't say certain things, he will deliver a pardon. He is immune from prosecution for bribery or anything like that. And like I said, the pardon power has really been held to be absolute. And so that is something that we, of course, would be watching very carefully about. But that's at one end of the spectrum. At the other end of the spectrum, that would, let's say, let's call that the count. Okay? At the other end of the spectrum, the stick is that she is an inmate, and she is within the care, custody, and control of the Bureau of Prisons, which is within the Department of Justice, and they get to decide where she serves her sentence. We oftentimes hear judges, say that someone should serve their sentence in a minimum security or a camp or in someplace close to their home, or in the north or the south, or where there are facilities for health or whatever. Right? We oftentimes hear that. What people don't realize is those are just recommendations. Judges don't decide where someone serves their sentence. They don't decide whether they're in minimum security or maximum security. They don't decide whether they get certain privileges or don't get certain privileges. All of that is decided by the Bureau of Prisons. And so they oftentimes make these recommendations, judges make these recommendations, but, and the Bureau of Prisons has reasons to, listen to those recommendations, but they're not binding in any way, shape, or form. So, if the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Prisons decided, we are moving you to a less favorable facility, that is something the Department of Justice can do. If they want to move them if they want to move a prisoner out of one circuit or district into another, that is something they can do. And by the way, we have seen the Trump Justice Department play a little bit of those games with, not necessarily with the Bureau of Prisons, but with ICE, where they say, we want to move someone out of the, the New York City area or the Second Circuit into the Fifth Circuit, Louisiana. And some of that is like just making conditions harsher, but some of it is also making the judicial system, making it less favorable to a prisoner who complains about that, right? So they pretty much control access to the conditions. The final thing I'd say is that at any time, either the Department of Justice or the Republicans in Congress, either one of them, could grant her immunity from future prosecution. This wouldn't get her out of prison. It's not a pardon. It doesn't get her out for what's now. But they could say, we want you to answer these questions. And if you refuse to answer the questions, we will immunize you for the purpose of those answers, which means we cannot prosecute you for anything that we learn from that. Now, we can prosecute if you lie, right? So we prosecute for perjury, but we cannot further prosecute you, for example, for sex trafficking or conspiracy, for anything we learn. And that is a tool that is available to the Department of Justice, to Republicans in Congress, if in fact they wanted the truth from her. Right? It wouldn't give her any benefit. It wouldn't give her any protection. It wouldn't get her out of prison any sooner. But they could compel her testimony. And so I find it interesting that the Republicans in Congress, who seem to want to haul before them every person who may have ever walked into the White House and seen an auto pen machine, that they don't seem so interested in hearing from her.
Is it possible that the Bureau of Prisons, again, under the direction of the DOJ, could prevent anybody talking to Gileain Maxwell if they wanted to?
Well, so again, anyone is a very broad term. They can restrict her visitation. They can restrict, whether she gets more time. They could, whether she's in solitary, whether she has restricted visitation rights, whether she's able to use the commissary, whether she's able to make phone calls, whether she's able to give interviews, right? Those are all within the department.
So now we know she's been moved and she doesn't have those restrictions.
Of prisons, the Bureau of Prisons control, because they control the facilities. Now, there are a couple of exceptions to that. Obviously, if the Department of Justice wanted to meet with her, or the FBI wanted to meet with her, they would be able to meet with her because they're within that structure. And they would not be able to limit her access to her own lawyers, right? Because she has an ongoing case, as I mentioned, this petition in the Supreme Court. So at least with respect to that, and probably with respect to any other legal question she has, they would have to let her see her lawyers. Whether they would need to abide by an effort by members of Congress to visit her, again.
And now we know. Fair use reaction clip.
Aware of, and did you personally approve the prison transfer for Gileain Maxwell that your Justice Department?
I didn't know about it at all. No, I read about it just like you did.
And do you believe that she is?
It's not a very uncommon thing.
Do you believe that she's credible to be listening to? Your Deputy Attorney General sat down with her recently.
Well, let me tell you, he's a very talented man. His name is Todd Blanche. He's a very legitimate person, very high. Just a very highly thought of person, respected by everybody. And I didn't talk to him about it, but I will tell you that whatever he asked would be totally appropriate, and it's not an uncommon thing to do that. And I think he probably wants to make sure that, people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate, very unfair to a lot of people. But I will say this, Todd Blanche is one of the most highly respected people you'll ever meet. So I know this. I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her, or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Were you aware of, and did you?
So there's that. Okay, everyone, I have an appointment I need to take care of. I'm mixed up by times. I may come back live to do Hot Topics, trending topics. So, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. We have about 119 people in the building. Can I please get 119 people to hit subscribe? That would be an amazing day for me. If 119 people hit the subscribe button, that would be an amazing number for me this morning. Also, 119 people, as you exit, please continue to tap that like button. Double tap the screen to hit the like. Double tap the screen, please. Let's get the likes to about 50. Can we get 50 people to double tap that screen to hit the like button? Or hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Above, yes, hit the like button for me, you guys. That keeps me in the algorithm. Thank goodness we've been in the algorithm for 11 months, and I want to stay in it. So thanks for being here, everyone. Continue to hit the like, you guys. Just double tap the screen. It shows me that a lot of people are watching from a phone or a tablet. So please double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, good afternoon. As you're commenting, continue to hit the like, you guys. There's still about 112 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. That would be an amazing amount of people subscribe today. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. If I can, I will do hot topics, training topics, probably after around 3 or 4, or I might just transfer everything to the morning. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.